We often think of breastfeeding as being a one-way street or a one-way avenue. As the baby breastfeeds, the substance that is the milk leaves your body, enters the baby's mouth, and he or she swallows. But it is a two-way street in actuality. As your baby breastfeeds, your baby's saliva travels back up the ducts in your breast and sends information to your wonderful, powerful, smart brain that this baby's saliva is made up of X, Y, and Z. So that means mommy, if the baby's not got enough X or too much Y, then mommy's milk has to compensate for that. So as the baby's saliva is analyzed by your brain then tells your body how to function, takes from you what it needs to give the baby exactly what it needs. That's why there is not a formula on the face of this earth that will ever give your baby quite what you will. And guess what? What you give your baby is free. It's warm all the time, readily available. So let's talk about some problems that women experience and why they ultimately stop breastfeeding. Some of the myths that your mother, your aunt, your grandmother may share with you is that you have to limit your baby's schedule or set a baby's schedule and limit the actual feeding time. There's been a ton of recent research that has proven all of that not to be so helpful, actually contributes to the failure of successful breastfeeding. Never watch the clock. Watch your baby. As long as your baby is actively sucking, swallowing, continue to breastfeed the baby. If the baby falls asleep while the baby maintains its latch on, if the baby's jaw is not moving in a way that you see it move when the baby's sucking and swallowing, it's a very minimal motion, and you can't hear your baby swallowing anymore, then it may be time to help your baby become unlatched. If you allow your baby to breastfeed when and as long as he or she needs to, your baby will not require supplemental bottle feeding. But that means you don't schedule the baby. You can't set a clock schedule that at 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock I'm going to feed my baby. Because your baby's metabolism is changing and rapid, you need to feed the baby when the baby's hungry. And remember, when you're breastfeeding, the baby doesn't always eat for nutrition. Because sucking is so soothing, that is how the baby works through emotional issues, insecurity, or the need for comfort. So remember that breastfeeding is not always for nutrition. It may only be for comfort. As you progress through the breastfeeding experience, probably the second most common myth that I'd like to address is that sore nipples is an indication that you need to stop breastfeeding. In our office, we have a brand new breastfeeding video that shows repeated babies allowed to self-latch will not latch on in a way that hurts you. That sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? Because sore nipples is a very, very big problem and will cause a woman to not want to continue to nourish her or bond with her baby in that way. We can discuss that at further length, or I can share the video with you. But I have seen numerous videos where a baby allowed to self-latch, when allowed to, will not latch on in a way that hurts you. If your grandmother or your mom or your aunt or your friend or your next door neighbor says, "Oh, you need to give that baby a bottle," listen to your gut instinct as a mom. You really do know what your baby needs. Listen to that and give it.